mice
Deer,
in the
right?
wild are the reservoirs of the larvae and the small nymphs in the life cycle of the actual Lyme disease spirochete. So they look like wiggly lines. They look like spermatozoid. Okay, they're called spirochetes. And the pathologist that discovered the spirochete, which is similar to syphilis, right? It's another spirochete. Treponema pallidum, to be exact, is the syphilis one. You did not have that.
Well,
I hope.
no.
No, back when
He doesn't have it anymore anyway.
when I was an intern, a long time ago in my medical education, I did have people with secondary and tertiary syphilis, which is really pretty catastrophic. And being in cardiology, I did encounter a few people who had aortic syphilitic aortitis.
Is that untreated syphilis for a long time?
Yes, correct. And again, we can talk about Tuskegee experience way back then when African American men were not treated, just to observe the natural history on purpose, despite the fact that penicillin was available and it was well known that it would treat the disease. Sad chapter in American medical history. But back to Lyme. So as the spirochete matures and becomes adult, a nymph and then a larger adult, and we're talking 1, 2, 2.5 millimeters in size, that's when they attack the deer. And that's another host. And from there to the humans. So typically a tick will bite a human a little more often in men than women because more men go in the woods, more prevalent, more common in the Northeast, some in the Midwest. And the tick adheres to the skin for 24 hours. It takes that long to spill its guts, literally, into the human skin. 24 hours. So a lot of people do see the tick. I've taken ticks off people's back. And then over the next, the immune system tries to rally and mount an innate, immunological response, but it takes weeks or months. So often the blood test to measure immunoglobulins is negative. It's a false negative.
So what does the tick transfer into the person?
The parasite that's in its gut called
like a
Borrelia burgdorferi. Burgdorferi was the name of the pathologist that discovered the spirochete, the actual parasite, inside the gut, the GI tract of the tick. The tick is...
So the tick is just a host as well.
The tick carries it. Correct. Right. And it lives in the animals, the rodents, the deer don't get sick from the Borrelia. The actual parasite is called Borrelia burgdorferi. The pathologist that discovered it, his name was Dr. Burgdorferi. Interesting. Small fact.
Listen, if I discovered some deadly pathology tick,
yeah,
I wouldn't name it after my own family, and then for the rest of the time,
that's the point.
I would name it after my enemy's family.
You go to Connecticut, you go to Lyme, Connecticut, and you meet a girl, at a bar. Are you gonna go? So what's your name? Oh, Joni. And what's your last name? Burgdorferi. Boom, run. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, so that's the cycle, and so humans get infected by the bite of this black-legged tick.
But they don't have the antibodies you were saying at first.
So it takes a long time for our immune system to mount. And so there's an initial rash, little papule, macule, red spot where the bite is.
Do you remember having that
And it starts to
rash?
spread.
The rash can come and go, actually.
Yes. So later on, it can come and go. That's already in the... so this is the very early phase.
Yeah, I don't remember
Right.
having that.
Yeah.
When I got it,
Yeah.
I was much less conscious.
It's a local phase.
when I was younger, too.
Yeah.
So maybe I had it and I didn't
And
even...
you know where the rash is more common? In your axilla or in your groin.
I have it here.
Yeah, but that's the later phase.
Yeah.
So initially, it's in the thigh, the axilla,
Oh, I get it in
or
my
the
thigh,
groin.
too. My
Yeah.
thigh.
And then, so in the localized phase, that's at the beginning in the first few weeks, if someone happens to be able to diagnose it and treat it, then it's straightforward antibiotics, a tetracycline type antibiotic called doxycycline,
Right.
100 milligrams twice a day, 14 days, or amoxicillin even.
I took
Doxy.
doxycycline and tetracycline,
Yeah. So 2
What?
weeks,
How much did you take? How long?
like 100 milligrams
twice a day, 14 days.
How many days?
But
no, 21 days usually.
but was that in the first month or two?
No.
Yeah. So you were already in the disseminated phase, in the early or late disseminated.
Exactly.
So you go in the first few weeks is the localized phase where you get, fever, you start feeling weak, no appetite. It's called anorexia, general malaise.
Did you have that?
Maybe
Yeah, but to extreme extents.
Yeah.
In the disseminated
And
phase.
later on. Again, let's not jump.
It
There are three
gets-
phases to
It
this.
gets to the point where you almost have like multiple sclerosis, almost like that.
You have it attacks your central and peripheral nervous system.
Yeah, it gets really intense.
But that's in the later phases.
I had seizures.
Yeah. Where
God
it
bless
it gives you encephalitis.
Yeah, I had encephalitis.
Yeah.
I had that.
Sometimes meningitis, very severe headaches, almost like terrible migraines.
I had that.
And-
I still have it.
And
To be honest.
memory loss.
I
and
still have it. Yeah.
focus, cognitive impairment. So you
Hence
get
the
brain
Adderall.
fog.
Hence the Adderall.
Yeah, lack of focus, right? So at the same time, you may continue to have arthritis, sometimes in one joint, like a knee or an elbow, that may last for months.
Did you have that?
Oh yeah, my elbows.
Yeah. And then, of course, a small number, maybe
You guys haven't had this. This is what's amazing. You guys have not had this conversation.
Yeah, it's amazing he knows so much. Yeah.
5% or so get the reason I know as a
I
cardiologist,
have cardiac
because-
things happening now
Right.
very intensely.
you get myopericarditis, but at the same time, the reason we cardiologists get involved in Lyme disease is because of the second and third degree AV block that at times requires a pacemaker placement. So a young guy with a rash
I need to be careful
who
with that.
lives in the Northeast comes in with second degree, high grade AV block called a Mobitz 2 for a pacemaker consultation. So we initially go, oh, must be Lyme's. Have you had a rash? Look at the guy's back. The guy goes, oh yeah, I had this red spot over here. Okay, perfect. Let's run the Western blot test for the antibodies, or because the ELISA type test is another one that we use, antibodies, and the confirmation is called Western blot. I don't want to get too much in the immunology. Basically, antibodies that last for a long time, but they take months to develop. So that's why in the early phase, it's a very tough diagnosis. It's not easy to make. And often it's in young people that are otherwise feeling pretty good. But it's not a lethal disease, but it does have the chronicity aspect.
It can become like
Debilitating.
Debilitating.
Yeah. So, I think I'm wondering how much of your self-discovery has to do with an encephalitic process from Lyme's, whereby your brain, and I'm guessing at this, I don't have any data, there's no actual research in this or published data, to say, did you become more introspective as a result of episodes of encephalitis that gave you insight into a different sense of you beyond your prior
That's fascinating.
awareness of you as I'm going to say this fairly successful trader in the business that we described on the prior segment. And then when things went bad, by that time you had developed Lyme's, you weren't aware of it. It all came together or merged, the negative stress and emotions from your immediate former career, because it was recent, together with your acute, early disseminated phase of Lyme's disease. That can be catastrophic in terms of the overall effect on your brain, on, again, your meninges, the cover of your brain, the brain tissue itself, with its cognitive impairment, memory impairment, neurocognitive thought processing of information, and then, of course, the physical aspects of the arthritides, whether it's in various joints, in your spine, neuritis. Some people can get even a paralysis of a cranial nerve. And lastly, of course, the cardiac manifestations of tachycardia, inflammation of the heart muscle, of the pericardium, and clearly a little bit of heart failure, shortness of breath, palpitations, tachycardia, things of that nature, or heart block with weakness, lethargy. And then these things go in waves because our immune system, tries to fight it, tries to keep it localized. So as the years have gone on, you're in obviously a late disseminated phase, and possibly the antibiotics don't work very well. Even if you took them for a whole month, whether it was the doxycycline or the, amoxicillin or the other one, Rocephin, even IV treatments, because we don't really have data that there is a cure. So that is where you have to, I think your India experience may have helped you in other ways than because I'm going to imagine that your nutrition was probably pretty good over there.
My nutrition was good, but I think what helped probably more than I ever thought or I ever knew could was the removing of
Processed foods?
psychology.
Right. No, I understand that part, but I'm going more towards let's take a Western medicine look at it. So you were probably in an environment where you were eating better quality food.
No, in reality, from when I went from the U.S. for the previous years to India, I didn't eat better food.
But I mean, the absence of preservatives, of antibiotics,
Perhaps, yeah.
of
Perhaps.
pesticides, insecticides, perhaps more vegetables.
I ate a lot of vegetables
Okay,
leading
so
up to my
that's
time
what I'm
going
talking
to
about.
India. Yeah,
So the absence of pollutants, of organochlorides, of this concept of disruptors of nutrition. So those are clearly.
But that's where the West, I think, needs to open its mind.
Yes.
Because the thing is it's not all about what you intake physically.
No, I agree.
It's about what you allow in mentally, mostly.
Correct.
Mostly.
Right. So,
which is the most important thing when it comes to healing the body, actually. Because you can continue to eat a very poor diet without thought that names that diet as a poor diet, and your body will live a healthy life.
So let's say, so that's mind over matter concept, or spiritual mindset over pollutant infiltrating.
When we name the diet an unhealthy diet, then it's unhealthy.
Yeah. I'm okay. Understood. So in a very basic sense, I'm imagining you in India going through this process where you're becoming a purer sense of yourself through the teachings, through your surroundings, through just by being there, the essence of your a spiritual leader. And at the same time, feeding your body with foods that were lacking
all of it was
chemicals.
All of it was eating food. All of it, whether I was listening to Bhagavan or whether I was eating my dinner.
Is that where your Lyme got better? When did your Lyme start getting better?
When I got back from India. My Lyme got worse in India. A place where you're with a Bhagavan is going to bring everything that is meant to come up and come out faster.
Yeah, it's interesting because I would have expected the opposite.
I would have thought you would have been healthier with
a Bhagavan will bring all of the darkest things that are hidden within you to the surface.
But that to expel them, you mean?
Yeah.
To get rid.
Absolutely.
Okay. So again, this at night. It's a paradox.
A Bhagavan, which is a guru, which is a dispeller of darkness, which is just pure light itself. That's what it is.
But you're healthier
Which
here.
also,
you're saying?
No. My physical body now may be perceived as healthier. Yeah, like, but the thing is that a lot has come up and come out. Okay. You know, like I've been through a lot this year.
Right.
Okay. So like, to be in full, like,
Okay. Can I ask one question?
clarity about the state of my health right now, you really can't ever really say. You know, you don't know if my body now is in better health than it was then.
But you feel better.
I mean, when I got back, I've met with a Western doctor from Germany who lives in Seattle. Who
You said that's where you got your diagnosis.
That's where I finally got my diagnosis of Lyme, right? And
some blood tests were done, and
Uh-huh.
your antibodies came back positive that you've
Exactly.
been exposed.
exactly,
Okay, so that doctor recommended certain diet and medications for you,
Yes.
vitamins.
yes,
How about a bee toxin?
yeah. What?
Bee toxin.
What is that?
It's one of the treatments.
bee toxin. No, he didn't do that.
How about
I've heard about this.
royal jelly?
No, he doesn't recommend that
Any of that?
specific. I mean, he doesn't. He doesn't.
There
not,
are other
He doesn't not,
treatments worldwide.
He
that are
doesn't
used for
not
this.
recommend that, but he has his way.
Okay, and what did he recommend?
There's a doctor named. There's another guy, an herbalist, named Stephen Bonner, out of the East Coast somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Bonner has become
Hey, Chandler, can you look that up on the computer?
Buhner, who has become a very well-known person a researcher, and I would say master of herbs. He's an herbalist. You know, he treats people of all different types of bacterial and viral infections through herbs.
Right. So
And
you were referred to him?
no, I found him through groups online. You know, for a long time before I went to my doctor, to Dr. Klinghardt in Seattle, I was self-treating myself. You know,
Yeah.
you know what the thing is though, is that you have to go and
Allow myself to introduce myself.
Listen, I understand Western medicine might not agree with that, but I can't tell you how many hundreds of Western medicine doctors I went to who said, I don't know how to help you. Okay. So when you go to fucking 50 Western medicine doctors who say, I don't know how to help you, and you have something that you think you're going to fucking die from, okay, you help
Yes.
yourself.
No doubt.
And you start researching and you start doing whatever the fuck you can to help yourself.
What were you going to say, Fred?
No, I understand the frustration and the limits. What you had is obviously incredibly difficult to
Very
diagnose
difficult, dude.
to begin
but also
with. So
very
I don't
difficult to
wanna-
live with.
Yes, but all
Like
of
I
it-
honestly got to a point for about a year straight living in India where every single day, every day, I thought of killing myself.
Oh, God bless you.
yeah, and I can understand, as I said, the effect on your brain is unique to each individual, and it's severe, and it can be debilitating in
The
multiple
misery,
aspects.
the misery you go through.
Right.
When
When
you
you were
don't-
your
when you
girlfriend
don't-
had left by this time, right? So you were
We had
alone
split up. I was alone
through
yeah.
this difficult time, which is even more traumatizing. So you fast forward, you see this physician in Seattle, and what does he recommend? Like in the summary of it, what does he say? He diagnosed you.
Generally, so before I ever went to see him, I was researching Lyme and co-infections, because Lyme is not just about just Bordeaux. There's other co-infections that often follow suit, you know, and when your body has become compromised by one thing, it's often left open and susceptible to taking on many other types. And we don't even have a dictionary or a library for all of the pathogens that are out there. There are infinite number of pathogens on this freaking planet.
So
and we have maybe a library of the first hundreds of thousands of them.
Yeah.
Okay. And there are hundreds of millions more that we don't even know what the fuck they
Right.
are.
And there's no doubt, 50, 100 years from now, that book is going to get thicker, right? More chapters.
But if we don't know how to name a thing, we don't know how to cure a thing.
But he knew.
And the way that he knows is that he takes a generalized approach, and that's through basically anti-pathogenic medicines, which are either in the form of herbs that are known for hundreds or thousands of years to help people in pathogenic types of illnesses, and that combined with detoxification of the body. Because we live in a modern day era where we are all completely taking on more toxins than we usually.
Unfortunately, so we're taking disruptors of our health.
It's because of like the
and mostly sugar, which if you listen to our other podcasts,
I mean, sugar is a thing,
We're
but
talk
also
about
sugar's not such the worst thing.
It's
It's
pretty
not.
bad.
It's bad. No, but listen. What about heavy metals?
Yes,
What about those?
that's what I was referring to. Disruptors of health that have to do with, organochlorides and
One of the things that people love about this
aromatic-
podcast is
aromatic cyclic hydrocarbons,
even though he's
cigarette smoke.
even though he's a Western doctor,
But wait. What about pure tobacco cigarettes?
sounds like somebody.
What about tobacco without all the chemicals in it?
That's fine. The nicotine's fine. I'm fine with it.
Okay.
It's the 7,500 chemicals that come from
Right.
smoke that I have a problem with.
But what about
As a cardiologist,
As a cardiologist,
yes.
And I don't
But
know.
I'm
What
still-
about American spirits? Have they gone bad? Have they gone to the bad side? I don't know. Organic American spirits. I just want to know because I'm a smoker. I'm a smoker of organic American spirits. So please tell me.
This
Doctor,
is not-
Dr. Federico.
No.
hey Chandler,
Federico.
You're still putting
Rico
chemicals in
suave,
you.
por favor.
all right, I think this is a great point to
Okay.
end the podcast.
Dime, amigo.
Chandler, if you can please edit
It's
out
not
the
healthy.
cigarette commercials.
Amigo.
There's a bit of false
Everybody,
advertisement.
this has been the
In
Leverage
Los
Podcast.
orgánicos
Sí,
también.
así es.
I'm once again your
Los
host,
cigarros orgánicos.
Octavio Venturas, with
We
Dr. Suave and The Thrill. All right.
and we're not marketing Royal Jelly.
Por favor, amigo. Yo quiero fumar.